By the end of this week in History of the World from 1500 to the present, we will be examining the case of anti-apartheid politics in South Africa. However, we're going to begin with a little bit of reflection. We'll recall that we have covered the movements of pro-democracy and people's movements in Latin America, including in Chile, pictured on the left and top right-hand side of the slide, and in Brazil, pictured on the lower right-hand side of the slide. We also covered Southeast Asia during the course of the Cold War, where you have a Huk rebel holding hostage an anti-rebel on the left-hand side of the slide, Hun Nordum Sidok of Cambodia up on the top right side of the slide, and then a anti-communist movement in Indonesia, right-wing to far right-wing movement in Indonesia on the bottom right-hand side of the slide. We also covered the background of Thai politics, far-right politics in Thailand, as well as military power in Thailand, the protest music emergent out of the 1968 to 1976 student movement in Thailand as well. As part of this reflection, I would like you to compare one country in Latin America and the Caribbean and one country in Southeast Asia. So you could do Jamaica and Thailand, or Brazil and Thailand, or Brazil and Indonesia, or Chile and Indonesia, so forth. What is the impact of the Cold War on your region? What is the nature of politics in your region during the Cold War? But also include the phrase, I argue, and think about the sort of comparisons here. You could specify within the countries, but these phrases, I argue, should be about the comparison of the two countries here. And you should have three supporting points drawn from the historical cases. As a reminder, during Unit 1 and Unit 2 of the course, we covered some major themes: colonialism, Eurocentrism, imperialism, industrialization, empires and nations, the environment, agriculture, the biological old regime, sustainability, Anthropocene versus the Holocene, and the world economy of raw materials, and the question of human rights and independence movements sort of emerged out of this context. In Unit 3, we've seen a greater focus on social unrest and religious unrest to a certain extent. We've also seen socialism, democratic socialism, Marxism, communism emerge as various different strains of socialist thought that were influential, pro-democracy thought that was influential, nationalism, right-wing movements, religions, Rastafarianism, for example, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, foreign political influence and neo-imperialism through capital, Third World and the Third World Bloc, the non-aligned movement, Cold War, anti-colonial movements, peaceful coexistence, the non-aligned movement conferences associated with international Third World politics and student movements as well, popular and protest music, so reggae, the Nueva Canción, and also the Songs for Life movement. A reminder here for this reflection, you're really comparing one country with another country in two different regions, but thinking beforehand, you should be thinking about the questions of, like, if you're in Latin America and in the Caribbean, what is the impact of the Cold War on your region? If you're in Southeast Asia, what is the impact of the Cold War on your region? What is the nature of the politics in your region during the Cold War? You should sort of have those thoughts in mind, but the comparison should be about one country versus another country, using the phrase I argue, and using three main supporting points drawn from historical sources. The post should be short, so no more than 4 sentences at most, but go ahead and make a short post and then let's move on.